And we're here. So, it's the beginning. We have begun our trip into 40 years worth of gaming all the way back in 1986. And we're starting with a game that I played a decent amount growing up as a kid. Edutainment games were the games that we got the most. And so we're gonna do Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego. Now, this is the second game in the series, I believe, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Came out the year before, in 1985, but that is not the year we are doing, so we're opting for the USA. Which is good news for me, because I know American geography better than I know world geography. And, oh, wait. There we go. The dog cam wasn't on the dog properly, and we can't have that. You will see that we've got some extra space on the left-hand side. This is going to be something I need to handle better throughout the series, is figuring out how to handle games at weird resolutions. Because this is at a non-standard resolution. And I say non-standard because it's not just that it's not full screen width. If it were normal, like... So, the resolution we're running stream at, which is what most people run screens at generally nowadays, is 16 by 9. The ratio that fits on this screen and this border here would be perfectly lined up with is if this were at a 3 to 4 resolution. This game has chosen to be somewhere in between. So, yeah. Vote game. There we go. Okay. Alright, we're gonna have to move some stuff around. There we go. And we will swap our background too while we're at it. Should have done this before stream. File, export as. Thank you. That shouldn't be on top of everything, though. Down. Down, I say. Background. Background. Alright. You know, if I were really on top of things, I could have commissioned actual art for a backsplash. But we didn't, so here we are. Alright, so, the Pony Express station has been stolen by a masked male. Okay. We must apprehend the thief by Monday, 10 p.m. And we are a gumshoe. So. Clues. I'm gonna try to hide the cursor and do everything with keyboard because the cursor is kind of weird. Historical Society. The game does have mouse support. He asked for an article on bluegrass propagation. Alright, so we're going to Kentucky. But we're still going to ask the other places to find clues on who it is. Mammoth Cave National Park. Okay, again, we're going to Kentucky. And he wanted to take riding lessons in bluegrass country. He mentioned the Stanley Cup. Okay, so Stanley Cup, that's hockey. His sport is hockey. So, depart. We want to go to Louisville. Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome to Kentucky, the bluegrass state. Kentucky is home to the most famous horse race in America, the Kentucky Derby, held every spring at Churchill Downs in Louisville. Very suspicious. Who reads a newspaper these days? He was writing a novel set in the Twin Cities. I do not remember which cities are considered the Twin Cities. I'm thinking it's Illinois, but I'm probably wrong on that. That's like saying the Triangle. Like, all sorts of different places call one set of three cities they've got the Triangle. He wanted a map he could use when traveling west of Wisconsin. Okay. So that's definitely not Illinois. He wanted to hike through Superior National Forest. Okay. What do we got? Topeka is where we started. Minneapolis is, I think, we're going. Because Atlantic City is not going to be the Twin Cities. Superior National Park, Minneapolis is next to one of the Great Lakes up north, which is Lake Superior. It's the top one on the top of Michigan. So, Minneapolis. Now, when I did a short playtest before, so I could test things like audio levels, I did find out that when you go to the crime computer to put in, you can't go in and save it for later for some reason. I could have sworn I remembered you being able to, but I was not able to escape out of it. So if you go there, you have to hit enter and it burns extra time, which is why we haven't gone there to put down that they're into hockey. Highly suspicious. Having a camera. He said he was writing a murder mystery set in Palm Beach. Palm Beach is Florida. Let's see if we can't get any clues about who they are. He asked for directions to Boca Raton. Why someone this far north would ask for directions to Boca Raton, I don't know. He asked about deep-sea fishing in the Gulf Stream. Of course he did. Why wouldn't he do that? Right, so, no more information about who this dude is, except that maybe he's into fishing. But we're definitely going to Miami. Oh, our mouse is on the screen again. Welcome to Florida, the Sunshine State. Florida is the home of the Seminole Indians, the only Native American tribe never to have signed a peace treaty with the U.S. government. Really, given how history worked out, that was probably a smart decision. Okay, so what do we know about him? We know he's male. We didn't get anything hair. Seafood, Creole, Tex-Mex, Southern. Sport is hockey. Auto repair, fortune, spelunking, gambling. Opera, rock, country, classical. Is there only one male into hockey? Alright, I swear that we saw... Like, we looked for clues every place we could. Are we gonna fail our first one? Like, I didn't see a hair color. Do we want to say seafood just because he asked about fishing? And fishing doesn't show up in a hobby? Alright, well, we know that's not right. Alright, I guess we take a shot. Alright. Maybe there was a mention of bluegrass that was not the grass, but the music. We might just straight up fail our first one. Which would be funny. Given that it was just like, are we smarter than child us? Well, maybe not. Huh, we got him. Benjamin Hanna, who is apparently a chef. Thanks to your help, the police have apprehended Benjamin Hanna and returned the stolen goods to the grateful residents of Topeka. We here at Acme thank you for your good work on this case. Congratulations, you have earned a promotion. Before you are promoted, you have one more clue to unravel. Use the Photos USA travel guide to help you answer the following question. Which state is featured on page 524? So, this is old school copyright protection. So the Photos USA travel guide was an actual book that came with the game. It's not like expecting you to have the Guinness Book of World Records with you. It came with the game, and without it, you can't advance ranks. Well, I say that, but fortunately, we can use another old school method of progressing this sort of thing, which is, I went to GameFAQs. And GameFAQs had a section, whoever wrote it up was very nice about it, and was like, okay, if you have lost your book, which granted, if they wrote this, say 20 years ago when the game was 20 years old, a lot of people might have the game but have forgotten this book. They wrote down the answers. So let's see. The state featured on page... They do not have the answer to this. That is unfortunate. They have the state featured on page 217, 300, 370, and 498. So time to Google again. GameFAQs, where in the USA is San Diego Odor. Yeah, uploaded in 2009. Oh, this isn't on their GameFAQs at all. I wonder... Game. Alright. Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego? Let's just see this. What state is featured on page 4 of Fodor's USA Travel Guide? Page 524 of Fodor's USA Guide, depending on the specific edition, often features Florida. That is the answer that the Google AI gives me. What about Strategy Wiki? Strategy Wiki says Iowa. Alright, Strategy Wiki. Well, looky there. The Gen AI answer is wrong. It doesn't know what it's talking about. We go to strategywiki.org for where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, and it has the right answer. But ChatGPT, well, alright, technically Google AI is not ChatGPT, but the generative AI has failed to be successful. As usual. Is it stuck? Is it waiting for input? What's going on here? I guess it just thinks a while, like it's very slow to load up cases. Current rank is Junior Investigator. Flash! Oh. Conquered. Daniel Webster's teething ring stolen by masked male. So track the thief from Concord to his hideout and arrest him. Okay. Key. You must apprehend the thief by 8 a.m. on Tuesday. Good luck, Junior Investigator trying. Okay, welcome to New Hampshire, the Granite State. The capital of New Hampshire is Concord, located on the Merrimack River in the south-central part of the state. He said he was writing a paper on famous U.S. hot springs. Okay. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is someplace like Yellowstone. He wanted to know where to stay in hot springs. Mousy hair. He said he planned to backpack through the Ozarks. He had mousy hair. Alright, so we are looking to be out west there. Okay. So, Hot Springs, Little Rock, Atlantic City, San Antonio, and Portland. I think I wouldn't associate Portland with Hot Springs, but it's the only one I can think of that seems to be mountain adjacent, because I think that's where the Ozarks are. Nope, I am wrong. Back to Concord. We're wasting a bunch of time. No. So if you get it wrong, you have to fly back to where you were to get the list generated correctly. Alright, so Atlantic City doesn't have hot springs. San Antonio, I also wouldn't think has hot springs. Atlantic City is definitely not it. I guess Little Rock? Hey, we got it. Also, why is the random hippie like a henchman? Why is that a sign of like evil? He said he was writing a murder mystery set in Palm Beach. Okay. So does that mean writing is his hobby? Or just that we're going to Florida? He's carrying a spanner. Okay. Right. Male. Hair. Black, brown, blonde, red. Mousy, I believe, is brown. Hobby. Auto repair. Because why else would he be just randomly carrying around a spanner? Okay, we go to Miami. And now we don't need any more clues for who he is. So as soon as we know the destination, we go to the destination. Ah yes, the most evil of villains. Someone over 20 on a skateboard. Oh, he was writing a novel set in the Twin Cities. We just went to the Twin Cities. So we know that's Minneapolis now. The benefits of short-term memory and knowing how things overlap. Again, the very dangerous hippie. He said he was writing a report on the early years of the automobile industry. He was eating black-eyed peas. Are we going? It's like, alright, yep. We go to Detroit. The early years of the automobile industry is almost certainly Detroit. And they missed. Alright, hopefully we got him. And we did. Thanks to your help, the police have apprehended Alexander Graham Edison and returned the stolen goods to the grateful residents of Concord. Okay, so we have mashed up Alexander Graham Bell with Edison. His family was just really into inventors. And here at Acme, thank you for your good work on this case. Your success will be noted in your record. 2 more cases until your next promotion. Are you ready for your next case? Yes. So I don't know how many cases you have to do to advance all the way. So that should be interesting to figure out, because I don't remember some of these older games being that long. So it is theoretically possible that we're trying to speedrun this and get top rank, like, tonight, on stream. Kurt Makers, Junior Investigator. Yes, Flash. Nashville. Davy Crockett's coonskin cap stolen by masked female. Okay. Track the thief from Nashville to her hideout and arrest her. You must apprehend her by Thursday, 2 p.m. Good luck. Welcome to Tennessee, the volunteer state. Davy Crockett, the legendary frontiersman, grew up in Tennessee. He served 2 terms as a U.S. congressman from Tennessee. How many times can we fit the word Tennessee into a sentence? She was doing research on Dwight D. Eisenhower. Okay. I do not remember where Eisenhower is from. She said she wanted to spend the night in Medicine Lodge. Okay. She was planning to canoe down the Republican River. Alright, I don't know where this is. Canoe down the Republican River. Medicine Lodge. I'm assuming just from Medicine Lodge, we're talking something with a lot of Native American history. So we guessed Topeka. And this is a guess, because some of these clues I know immediately, but this set of clues I did not know at all. Hey, we got him. Also, an I Love Crime shirt is pretty sweet. I can see a lot of people wearing that for ironic reasons, or in a be gay, do crime reasons, or if they're really into pirating things, or anything of that nature, really. Studying the geology of Mammoth Cave. Alright, so we know that we're going to Kentucky. Alright, yes, we already got the Mammoth Cave hint, thank you. Okay, alright. Louisville. But we do need some more clues about who it is. Do I need to censor this? Oh no, it's just watches. Okay. That makes more sense. She said she was going to write an article on the Space and Rocket Center at Huntsville. Okay. She asked where she could get tickets to see an annual presentation of The Miracle Worker, a play about Helen Keller. Okay. She said she wanted to go snorkeling at the Gulf Islands National Seashore. Alright, so I'm going to say Montgomery, just based on the last one. But we still Don't know anything about her, besides that maybe snorkeling is her hobby? She was doing research for a romance set in the French Quarter. Okay. Think that's Louisiana? She wanted to know if there was train service to Shreveport. Give me something about who she is. She said she planned to go deep sea fishing on the Gulf of Mexico. She had a David Bowie tape? Alright, so female, sport, none of those, hobby. Pretty sure David Bowie counts as rock, right? He's gotta. He's not classical, he's not country, and he's not opera. This is a problem. Because I'm pretty sure... Yeah, New Orleans. Because I'm pretty sure we don't get any more hints. Yeah. No hints, only ultimatums. Alright, they definitely didn't say anything about the hair. Seafood, Creole, Tex-Mex, Southern... I didn't catch anything about irrelevant sport, gambling, spelunking, fortunes, auto repair. I'm going to put spelunking because we got double hints on Mammoth Cave for when it was in Kentucky. Okay, not spelunking then. Gambling, fortunes, auto repair. Alright, we guess then. Alright, gambling it is. We'll take the 50-50. So much for the speedrunning part, eh? Alright, did we win the coin flip? Nope. We lost the coin flip.
Yeah.
Don't know what this is with the hands. Oh, that's out of frame. You tailed her correctly. Unfortunately, you had the wrong warrant. We could have all been sued for false arrest. That's okay, we don't pay it, the taxpayers do. Yes, we're ready for our next case. I don't remember it being this stingy with clues about her. Like, I remember the trick always seemed to be harder to make sure you went the right place, but I feel like I'm getting 3 hints about where to go and 0 hints about their identity. Alright, let's try this again. Charleston, West Virginia. John Brown's body stolen by masked male. Your assignment: tracking the thief from Charleston, West Virginia to his hideout and arrest him. You must apprehend the thief by Monday, 9 p.m. Good luck. Asked for a guidebook to Milwaukee. He had a hat with a lantern. Alright, spelunking. He is a spelunker. I complain about it not giving hints, and then it immediately is just like, here's an obvious hint. He had red hair. Male. Red hair. Spelunking. Okay. That was super easy this time. He asked about swimming conditions at Apostle Islands National Lakeshore. I don't think I got enough out of that to know where it was. It's like Apostle Islands National Lakeshore. Screw it. We go to Wisconsin. I expect they would have said something about cheese, though. No? Okay. No cheese hints, but we got it anyway. Once again, old guy on wheels, highly suspect. He was doing research paper on pioneer life at Fort Kearny. I think that's just straight up Omaha, but let's check the other locations. Asked for tickets to the Buffalo Bill Rodeo. Who's interested in hunting for prairie chicken? Okay, yeah. Omaha. Large man in a suit. Again. Very suspicious. He was researching the history of Fort Osage. Unknown. He asked for a map showing areas west of Illinois. He had a 49ers t-shirt. Okay. West of Illinois. They're all... Well, okay, two of them are west of Illinois. Just one is way further west of Illinois. He said he wanted to go float fishing around the Big Springs area. Alright, so he had a Scarlatti tape, he had a 49er shirt. So up until last time, I got like no hints about their identities. And now they're like, no, we're going to fill out the entire dossier. Big Springs. I'm pretty sure we're just in St. Louis here. If not, we go back to Omaha and then Pierre. Okay, once again, we get our picture taken, which is a bad thing. Asked for an Oberlin College catalog. Oberlin... I think that's Mississippi, but I don't know. He asked for directions to Sandusky. I don't know that one either. He asked about boating on the Cuyahoga River. I think we're going to Columbus? It's not LA, so it's either Columbus or Jackson. Well, if we get it wrong, we go back to St. Louis and then to Jackson. Okay. There we go. And that should do it. That's certainly a face he's got there. Excellent. We here at Acme thank you for your good work on this case. Your success will be noted on your record. One more case until our next promotion. Are we ready for our next case? Yes. Now we wait for it to load. Slowly. Montpelier. Ethan Allen's powder horn stolen by masked female. Assignment: track the thief from Montpelier to her hideout and arrest her. You must apprehend the thief by Sunday, 10 p.m. Welcome to Vermont, the Green Mountain State. Vermont is famous for its colorful fall foliage and picturesque towns and churches. Thousands visit the state each year just to see the autumn leaves. She asked for a guidebook to the Olympic Peninsula. She was eating jambalaya. So her food is Creole. She asked about road conditions in the Olympic Mountains. So it's not Madison. I don't know if it's Seattle or Salt Lake City, though. She was going to sail across the Strait of Juan de Fuca. I don't think there are any straits in Utah. So... Oh, we can go to Anchorage, too. What were the hints? She wanted to sail across that strait. The Olympia Mountains. I think that is... Anchorage. The problem is it's a longer flight, so if I'm wrong, we waste a lot of time. Yeah, okay, we wasted a lot of time. Where did we start? Started in Montpelier, I believe. Seattle it is. Well, that's one wrong. I think we can get away with one wrong pretty much any time. Also, who gets away from a robbery on a skateboard? She asked about books about Basque settlements in the US. She was Titian-haired? Titian-haired? What the heck is Titian-haired? Titian-haired describes someone with a rich reddish-brown to brownish-orange hair color. So brown is a tint of red hair? Okay, alright. Female. Red hair. Creole. Okay, there's more than two that are women with red hair and Creole. She said she planned to ski at Sun Valley. She was carrying a pigskin. They really try to make their hints slightly less hinty by just saying the wrong word or using slang the whole time. Okay, carrying a pigskin. Sport. Football. Pigskin is slang for a football. That doesn't narrow it down. She asked for directions to catch him. It's either Boise or Bismarck. We take the 50-50. We might run out of time on this one. Oh, we won the 50-50. She wanted to know who was buried in Grant's tomb. Presumably Grant. She wanted a guide to Greenwich Village restaurants. She wanted to swim in all the Finger Lakes. Who's buried in Grant's tomb? We go with Wilmington, I think. It's not New York, and I don't think it's Province. Darn it. Nope. Nope. Depart. Right. Finger Lakes, Grant's tomb. Obviously, we could Google these things, but I think it's against the... Well, it was 86. Alright, I'm just completely wrong. Grant's tomb is in New York, as are the Finger Lakes. Huh. We're learning. We'll see if we run out of time, because we've been wrong a lot. She was picking a tune on the banjo. Okay, so... And now I forget what the clue is for where she was. She was planning to take a Mississippi riverboat south from Memphis. Well, it's not Atlantic City. Charleston, West Virginia... I don't think it's the Mississippi at that point. I believe that's too far north of the fork. So we're going to go from Jackson. Or it could have just been a very big hint. It's just like, I mentioned Mississippi and Jackson's in Mississippi. Rumors, there's a gang somewhere in town. You think? They just threw an explosive at us. These look like some nice gals. They would never do anything wrong. Besides, you know, all the theft. Thanks to our help, the police have apprehended Brenda and Corbina Vanderbilt and returned the stolen goods to the grateful residents of Montpelier. We here at Acme thank you for your good work on this case. Congratulations, you have earned a promotion. Before you are promoted, you have one more clue to unravel. Use the Photos USA travel guide to help you answer the following question. What is the last bold-faced word at the bottom of page 359, or 357? Last bold-faced word on 357 is Washington. Your new rank is Investigator. Alright, we're ready for our next case. It'll load eventually. And then we'll be ready. There we go. Current rank is Investigator, got it. Right, what got stolen this time? Prize-winning Rhode Island Red stolen by masked male. A Rhode Island Red, for those of you not familiar who didn't grow up in the country, is a breed of chicken. They have stolen a prize-winning chicken. Your assignment: track the thief from Providence to his hideout and arrest him. Alright, it is a male this time. I think as the rank goes up, we get less time, so we can't afford to be as wrong. He asked for a book about Fort Sumter. That's okay, we're still going to go to all of the places to get clues on who he is. We wish to visit the Palmetto State. Alright, this is all South Carolina, so we know we're going to South Carolina. He said he was going to backpack through Francis Marion State Park. Francis Marion, for those of you who don't know, he fought on the side of the South in the U.S. Civil War, and he was known as the Swamp Fox. The Swamp Fox, yes. Wait, that was Civil War, right? Yeah, no, he wasn't Revolutionary War, he was Civil War. He asked for a history of Wichita. Wichita is Kansas. He had a racing form, so his hobby is gambling. Alright, so we're going to Kansas, and he's a gambler, but there's probably more than one gambler. He said he was headed for the exact geographical center of the contiguous U.S. He wanted to go fishing on Tuttle Creek Lake. I said Kansas, right? The Sunflower State. The major farming state. And we are accosted by a dirty hippie. That's how you know you're doing it right, when the dirty hippies are coming for you. He said he was going to make a study of 17th century homes in New London. Alright, so we're talking East Coast, definitely. But we still need clues as to who the person is. He said he wanted to take a tour of Yale University, who is humming Rigoletto. Alright. Male. Hobby. Gambling. Music. Opera. Mylar Naugahyde. Ah, someone's parents did not want a child. Hartford, Connecticut. That's where we want it. This is where Yale is, and this is also, it's on the East Coast, so 17th century, you're not going to get a lot of New London architecture stuff if you're not all the way on the East Coast. He asked for information about beachcombing on the southwest shore of Lake Michigan. So, Chicago. The rest of these are very far away from Lake Michigan. Scary skater. He was doing research on shipwrecks off Cape Hatteras. He had a photo of Babe Ruth. Alright, so that's the clue that he's into baseball. But we already know who he is, so that doesn't matter. But I do know where Cape Hatteras is, so we are going to North Carolina. We already went to South Carolina earlier, so it is time for North Carolina. The Tar Heel State. I find it funny that we get the cement drop thing when the picture is of the Wright brothers plane. It's like, oh no. They have commandeered the Wright brothers airplane to drop things on me. And doubling up on the dropping. Okay, they're just circling me. Fortunately, their aim is bad. I think I'm thinking of the animations from a different one, like Where in the World is it? Where it's like, instead of cars and stuff, it's like the troops actually chasing them, like walking. It's like, you see a bunch of cops run by with their guns, and they're like... Also, this dude looked like he is trying to be a cop, so I guess he's just full of spite that he didn't make it through the academy. Mylar Nagahide. He's made of various types of cloth. Fabric? No, they're not fabrics. Materials? I guess we'll call them materials. Are we ready for our next case? Yes. I think that the reason it takes so long is that what they're probably doing is they're probably just reloading the whole game from scratch. Is this one of the games that came in a box with a cover flap? You feel like you might remember seeing this. Maybe? You might remember very similar ones because the Carmen Sandiego was a series. This is technically the second one because this is Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego, whereas the first one was Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. And there were a couple. The series actually continued. There was at least one cartoon. There was a game show. There are there are like a bunch of them. Like the most recent Carmen Sandiego game was, I think, in somewhere in the 2010s. They've been around a while. All right. We have until Wednesday. Good luck. Thank you. All right, so we're in Tulsa. She asked for an Oberlin College catalog. She had a Tom Seaver t-shirt. Alright, so that's a clue about what music she likes, but I don't know who that is. Oh, that's not music. It's a baseball pitcher. Alright, so she's into baseball. Let's see, where's Oberlin College? Is that Ohio? For directions to Sandusky. These are both things that were mentioned in an earlier case. You were born in the 90s, so you must have seen one of the later editions of the game. That's possible, yes. There was also Wherein Time is Carmen Sandiego. And for some reason, and this is something I only found out while I was looking at games for this series, is that there was one highly specific one, which is Where in North Dakota is Carmen Sandiego? Which is just incredibly weirdly precise. She said she wanted to hike the route of the Iroquois war trails. I don't know if it's Indianapolis or Columbus. It's not Raleigh. Sandusky? I feel like that's Ohio. If not, we have to head back to Tulsa after this. Okay, cool. We made the 50-50. Because, like, it shows 4 locations on the map for places to go, but one of them is, like, where you currently are, and so that only leaves 3 options. So if you can eliminate one, you can get it down to a 50-50. She asked for a book about Creole culture. Alright, so we're going to Louisiana. But do we know more about her? She had a hat with a lantern. Who wears that around? Alright, female, sport. Hobby, spelunking. Sport is baseball. BBD O'Brien. Cool. Alright, we're headed to New Orleans. She was studying the ecology of Narragansett Bay. She had bat guano on her shoes. Okay, again, how would you know? You, random researcher, why are you able to easily identify bat guano? Alright, so Narragansett Bay is not somewhere that I know where it is. But I do know that it is a bay, which means we need somewhere that has a bay, which is not Montgomery, which is not Columbus, but it could be Providence or Augusta. She asked about boat rentals in Galilee and Jerusalem. She had a Cubs ticket. Okay. Galilee and Jerusalem? If this were where in the world is she, I would know exactly where that is, but... Okay, the Breakers... I guess we go for Rhode Island? Because several of the clues, like, I didn't recognize the names. It was like, these are clearly ocean-related, so I need somewhere on the ocean. Okay, cool. We hit our 50-50. She wanted to know which state touches 4 of the 5 Great Lakes. That would be Michigan. The Wolverine state. No, I don't want your watches. Stop it. Writing a mystery set in Death Valley. Death Valley. Las Vegas. Here we come. Sometimes we get 3 hints and we don't know where we are. Sometimes we get 1 hint and we know immediately where to go. Alright, we got him. But it is time for our hourly health and wellness break. So we're gonna stand up, stretch, refill our drink, do all that good stuff. We're gonna be AFK for 3 minutes. You're not going to miss anything because we will go away, you will go away. We'll all come back healthier for not staring at screens for a few minutes. So I will see you then. We have returned. We here at Acme thank you for your good work on this case. Your success will be noted on your record. The problem I'm actually running into with why I don't have this bigger covering more of the screen is there's nowhere on the screen that I can really put myself. That's the thing with some of these older low resolution games is that like I'm looking at it and it's just like, well, like I could put myself like over here, but like that covers a lot of stuff. I can't put myself anywhere near the middle. All the buttons are down here, like the time is up here. It's just like there's nothing to it really. Actually, let's see about yeah, because like even if I did want to extend it and be like, okay, but I can also cut off the like we could do this, but then I cover too much of it. So like it doesn't matter if I cut off the what? Like this stuff up top. Like that's fine. But I don't want to cover it with myself, which means I need to figure out, especially for these older games, a different background. Also, I need to figure out what I want to do about background music, because as you've noticed, I don't have any playing, because I kind of want to let the games speak for themselves. But on the other hand, it does mean we're missing a little something as far as presentation is concerned. But we are ready for our next case, so it gets to reset completely. And it will eventually load up our next case. There we go. Excellent. Flash. Indianapolis. The Battle of Tippecanoe Monument was stolen by masked female. Track the thief from Indianapolis to her hideout and arrest her. Got it. Time limit does not matter. I'll get done with it when I get done with it. She was doing research on the oil industry, so we're probably headed to Texas, but it could be a couple states actually. She said she planned to visit Will Rogers' home state. She was humming Rigoletto. Alright, so we have music is opera. So we know that, which is good. I don't know where Will Rogers is from. She planned to play softball in the state that is home of the National Softball Hall of Fame. Okay. She. Music. Opera. Watched baseball not actually work. Because it's not softball. Yeah. This is gonna be Tulsa. Welcome to Oklahoma, the Sooner State. Oklahoma is a major producer of oil. Oil wells are everywhere, next to cattle ranches and even around the Capitol building in Oklahoma City. Okay, what do we get? She was studying the history of tobacco farming in the U.S. All right, so this is going to be southeast U.S. What is our list? Indianapolis, Columbus, and Raleigh. Okay, that's almost certainly Raleigh, but I'm not 100% sure on the baseball. Yeah, Cape Hatteras. We're definitely going to Raleigh. Okay. So I feel like there's a certain meta knowledge that you have to gain about which things they say are location hints only versus also other hints. Because, like, all right, she's going to go to a football game at Duke University. Is that just telling me Duke University as in go to North Carolina? Or is that telling me about the sport interest as well? She asked for a Princeton University catalog. Plan to tour the Garden State. That is New Jersey. Right. Rigoletto, I already knew. Atlantic City, New Jersey. I wonder why they chose certain cities. Because it's not like they chose the state capitals as where you're going to. Presumably so that they could give hints in that form, maybe? Like, so they can give hints about the capital, and then what's on your drop-down isn't the capital. But then again, sometimes they have capitals. Like Raleigh is the capital of North Carolina. She wanted a history of horse racing held at Churchill Downs. Alright, so that's the Kentucky Derby, I believe. Bluegrass, alright, yep. Kentucky, definitely Kentucky. New York Rangers. Baseball, wait, I think that's... Maybe it's hockey? Yeah, it is hockey. Okay. Like, that baseball? It's like, Alright, yeah. So it is actually hockey. So the thing mentioned earlier about the other stuff. Right, yes, we do want to go to Louisville. But when it was talking about, oh, she wanted to play softball at the Softball Hall of Fame and things like that, it's like, no, she's not actually into softball. That was just telling us location, not identity. Which is actually why we were still going through multiple clues, even for ones that we knew where we were going. History of the cotton industry. Okay. There's a couple places that could be. She wanted a map showing areas east of Mississippi. She was carrying a wrench. Okay, so I think these hints of, like, east of this, west of that, doesn't mean generally east of or west of. It means directly east of, west of. Because Montgomery, Alabama is directly east of Mississippi. Yep, I've got a warrant. It's fine. This is fine. We dive behind cover. And we got him. Off they go. And then off the cops go. It is kind of funny how there's like no background music for the game in general, and then it's just like, time for a musical interlude. Alright, thanks for our help. They have apprehended Venus H. Pencil. We've earned a promotion. Alright. $8.43 Chinatown. Senior investigator. We're moving up in the world. And the cursor is even stuck on screen until it finishes loading. Current rank is Sir Investigator. Definitely Sir Investigator, not Senior Investigator. The Wright Brothers Memorial, stolen by masked male. I love it when they steal things that are just enormous. Alright, where are we headed? Said he was writing an article on the Cherokee Nation. Okay. Wanted to travel on the Will Rogers Turnpike. Okay. He asked about swimming in the Lake of the Cherokees. He was eating chimichangas. Okay. So, we've got the Cherokee Nation. Is that all the way out west in North Dakota? This one I don't know. I'm not confident in this one. I think very, very rarely. Like, very rarely, you'll be able to go directly to the right one if you miss. I don't think the Cherokee was... Oh, what was the other one? I was gonna say, wait, it's not New Jersey, is it? But then it's like, wait, I was too focused on the name of the person and not that they called it a turnpike. Or maybe I should have second-guessed myself instead of third-guessing myself. Alright. For some reason, the fact that they didn't mention anything I knew about Tulsa threw me off. Like, they didn't mention oil at all. Okay, well, we are way, way behind now. He said he was writing a historical romance set in Terre Haute. Haute? He asked about road conditions from Fort Wayne to Kokomo. Okay. He said he wanted to play quarterback for Notre Dame. You don't do that just by traveling somewhere, you know. Alright, I think we're going to Indianapolis. This one is like, it just gives you the 50-50 by not having that many options up. Alright, we might run out of time, but we'll see. As for books about Polynesia. That one I don't know. You want to tour a pineapple plantation. Are we going to Hawaii? You wanted to hunt wild goats on Maui. Yes, that is definitely... Oh, wait. Hawaii it is. Alright, give me more. We know it's a dude who likes Tex-Mex. I think I need more than that to figure out who it is. For a book about Mount Rushmore. Okay. That's... The Black Hills. He had a Talking Heads tape. Talking Heads is rock, I believe. Alright, so male. Food. Tex-Mex. Talking Heads isn't classical, it isn't country, it's not opera. Rock. There are two of them. Alright, I think we go to Pierre. South Dakota is where we can find Mount Rushmore. Oh look, Mount Rushmore. Let's see. He wanted information about the life of novelist Willa Cather at 49ers. 49ers is football. As for a map showing areas north of Kansas. Okay. Wow. I wonder if this is just RNG or if this is like a pity thing. It's like, you got a lot of wrong earlier, so we're going to give you all 50-50s. I forget when we run out of time, though. I forget the exact time limit we're dealing with. Alright, so we have the warrant. Ask for a chart of Lake Okeechobee. I don't know that one. Ask for directions to Epcot Center. He was carrying tarot cards. Cool. Epcot Center is Florida. It's nowhere close to Miami, but it is Florida. Excellent. I don't know what exactly our time limit is, but I think we got him. Hopefully. Is that Gomez Adams? It can't be. Gomez wouldn't do anything like this. First of all, he's rich. And also, he wouldn't fail this hard. He would succeed. Police have apprehended Carl Lafong and returned the stolen goods to the grateful residents of Raleigh. Two more cases until our next promotion. Alright. Let's see, that timer was at 31 when it started loading. $15 seconds. I mean, it's no compiling shaders for 10 minutes, but anyone that tells you that, you know, loading screens, like, it's all modern game bloat. It's like, no, look at these loading screens. We got long loading screens. There's not even anything there. No progress bar, no nothing. The screen just goes black. Our assignment. Track the thief from Philadelphia to her hideout and arrest her. She asked for information on the geology of the Three Sisters. Huh. I'm more into the biology of the Three Sisters, but I guess that's a different thing. Map of Crater Lake National Park. Unfortunately, I do not remember where that is. She said she planned to go camping near Klamath Falls. Well, if I'm thinking of lakes and falls and stuff, I think we're gonna go for Portland. And if we're wrong, we just have to head back to Philly. Mm-hmm. Anyone that well dressed has gotta be suspicious. She asked for information about a state that has 18 miles of seacoast and more than 1,300 lakes. She had brown hair. That is highly specific to ask about. Alright, so brown hair. He said only 18 miles of seacoast, right? So, Alaska isn't 18 miles of seacoast. That's hundreds upon hundreds of miles of seacoast. Likewise, California, not just 18 miles of seacoast. So we are going to Concord. Are we going to Concord yet? Yeah, we'll go to Concord now. The reason why we might have not wanted to go is that we don't have enough information. Like, we just know brown hair. Eureka Springs. Dog Patch. It's either Little Rock or San Antonio. And if not, we head back to Concord. Alright, we made our 50-50. She said she was writing a mystery set in Myrtle Beach. Okay, well, I now know where we're going. She wanted to tour Charlestown Landing, of course. Can you give me more information about who she is, please? Yes, yes. Okay, South Carolina. All I know is that it's a woman with brown hair. I need something more. Still, the crime in the style of I Heart New York is just lovely. She was looking for a book about Cornelius Vanderbilt's mansion, The Breakers. Okay. She wanted to know if there are any good hotels in Woonsocket. Of course I know where Woonsocket is. She asked about fishing in Narragansett Bay. Well, the thing about bays is that they are, by definition, on the coast. Which means not Topeka. Okay. Give me more information about the person. Because all I know is that she has brown hair. Alright, so we're going to Detroit. That's good to know. Tell me about the person that I'm trying to find in Detroit. Right? Yes, University Town of Ann Arbor. Still, that's Michigan, so we're going to Detroit. Okay, alright, off to Detroit it is. Alright. Woman. Brown hair. Classical. And now we really need the RNG to be on our side. Actually, let's take a look at something. Dossiers. Alright, so we got hair color brown. Hair color red. Yeah, Oh, we guessed right. Praise RNGesus. The game didn't give us any hints besides brown hair, and we still managed to get the one that we needed. Excellent. Ready for your next case hearing? Alright, yes. Alright, let's time the load screen, because as we said, load screens aren't just for new games, they're on old games too. And go. Alright. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright, consistent at 15-ish seconds. Entire year's peanut crop stolen by masked male. That's a lot of peanuts. He said he was writing a history of America's first state. Okay. Definitely East Coast. He said he planned to visit the second smallest state in the US. He said he was planning to take a bike tour from Newcastle to Dover. So we're looking to go to Delaware. Welcome to Delaware, the first state. Okay. Oh, stop. Information about the U.S. Naval Academy. That might be South Carolina? He wanted to take a tour of historic Port Tobacco. He planned to bicycle through a state west of Washington, D.C. Maryland it is. Of course, yeah. Right, the Naval Academy is in Annapolis. Right. I will note it hasn't given us any clues as to who the dude is yet. About the colonial settlement at Plymouth. So this should be Pennsylvania, I believe. He's planning on walking toward the Beacon Hill district. He wanted to hike to the cemetery where Paul Revere is buried. I think I tried to adjust my chair and the adjustment lever just like broke off. So that's not ideal. Alright, they still didn't tell us anything about where he is. Alright, so we're in Annapolis, and we can go to Boston. Alright, what were the hints? It's not Nashville. I don't think it's Wilmington. Didn't we just come from Wilmington? I guess we go Boston. Okay, alright, we got it. Writing a novel set in the Twin Cities. Alright, we're going to Minnesota. Still hasn't told us anything about who the guy is. Okay, he's a dude into opera. Let's see if we get any more hints over here in Minneapolis. Look, this is just like that we don't match the dress code of the club. He's not evil, he's just doing his job as a bouncer. Writing an article about Ponce de Leon and his search for the Fountain of Youth. That's probably Florida. Kennedy Space Center, that's definitely Florida. Yep, Florida it is. Okay, good. I need at least one more hint about the identity. Dinosaur National Park, okay? Don't know where that is. In Pueblo, okay? I'm gonna go riding on a dude ranch near Boulder, Colorado. So we're going to Denver, Colorado. Alright. Alright. Let's see if there's more than one guy who likes opera. Alright, we gotta get lucky since it didn't give us any clues as to who the guy actually is. Yeah. Yep, we got the wrong guy. We trailed Alexander Graham Edison correctly. Unfortunately, you have a warrant for Mylar Naugahyde. Well, yeah, no one told me anything about him besides that it was a dude who liked opera. I wonder if it is really down to pure RNG for if they give you hints or not. Because, as we saw earlier, sometimes you get, like, 5 hints on the first 5 people you talk to, and sometimes, like this one, it's just like, nope, no hints for you. Alright, what got stolen this time? Thermostat from Arkansas Hot Springs. Cool. Track the thief from Little Rock to his hideout and arrest him. You must apprehend the thief by Wednesday, 7 p.m. He was researching wind patterns around Mount Washington. He wanted a map to use when traveling west from Maine. He wanted to climb the rock face known as the Old Man of the Mountains. Alright, so we're going to Concord. I didn't get it from the other ones, but west of Maine is a pretty big hint. Alright, go back to New York. Okay. Biography of Sam Houston, so probably Texas. South Fork Ranch, again, still probably Texas. Alright, Texas it is. 0 hints as to the identity of this man, but we will figure it out, hopefully. He was doing research on country music. Alright, see, here's the thing. They're guaranteed to give you a hint about the location they are going to. I don't think they do double hints. Like, I don't think that this is, will tell you where he's going and that he's into country music. So I think it's misleading, actually, in a way. It is a red herring, and we shouldn't think that he likes country music. He said he wanted to visit a state bordered by 8 other states. Okay, cool. Can you tell me anything about him? He planned to take a walking tour through the Athens of the South. Okay. State that touches 8 other states. That is going to be Nashville, Tennessee. Tennessee has a lot of country music. And yet, they just only play Rocky Top anyway. He was writing a cowboy novel set in Roundup. He had a 49ers t-shirt. Alright. So we know he's into football. He asked for a map that would show areas west of North Dakota. We're going to keep asking because I don't think dude into football is going to be enough. He was eating a bowl of chili. Alright. That might be enough. Mail. Food. Tex-Mex. We're going to say chili is Tex-Mex. Sport is football. Alright. West of North Dakota. Now we can just speedrun to the end. As soon as we know where to go, we can go, because we have identified the perpetrator. He said he was studying the history of Russian settlements in North America. He had "The Boss" on his shirt. Cool. I don't know where the Russians settled. He said he wanted to visit the salmon capital of the world. Yeah. Salmon and Russia? I think that Alaska is a safe bet. He wanted a book on the Trapp family of Stowe. He had ebony tresses, also known as black hair. He asked if there was train service from St. Albans to Bennington. He planned a bicycle from Burlington to Middlebury. I don't know these city names. Alright, so we came from Helena. Burlington to Middlebury. Guess we guessed Portland? Nope, that's what I thought. We could go straight to Concord. Concord was available before. But if we're wrong, we have to go back to Portland, then back to Anchorage. Alright. Back to Portland. Then back to Anchorage. Wasting a lot of time. And then... Oh, it was Montpelier, not Concord. Oh, I was off by 1. Alright, Columbus it is. Watch it actually be Montpelier. It's like, they just gave hints of, like, random city names, and I'm like... Yep, we were too late. It's like, when the hints are like, he went from city A to city B. Okay, how about another different hint? He went from city C to city D. It's like, I don't know any of these cities. Oh well. We'll get there eventually. St. Louis. Tom Sawyer's fence, stolen by masked male. Of course. Is it really his fence? Like, it wasn't his fence to start with. Then you might think, well, it's the fence that he painted. But it's like, no. It's not the fence that he painted. The whole point of that story is that he didn't paint the fence. He fooled other people into painting the fence for him. He wanted a Civil War romance set in Vicksburg. Trying to think where Vicksburg is. He asked for information about Gulf Island seashore. He was a real Bears fan. Alright, so that would be football. So, dude into football. Again, not specific enough, but it's better than no information. He wanted to hike along the Natch Trace. Okay. He had a hat with a lantern. Alright. Hobby. Spelunking. Male. Football. Because he's into the Bears. We'll try Jackson. We'll head back to St. Louis if we're wrong. But I didn't understand any of those hints. Ah, here we go. Great success. We are letting the random number generator carry us. History of Martha's Vineyard. I believe that's New York, but we'll get another hint just in case. I think it's upstate New York. Travel north from Rhode Island. Okay, so no, it's Boston. No, it was New York. I mixed it up. I'm pretty sure I mixed it up. Oh, no, I was right. Okay, never mind. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. I thought I mixed up Rhode Island and Delaware, but I was correct in the first place. I should have trusted myself. He said he was writing a paper on the utopian community of New Harmony. Can't say that rings any bells. He wanted to tour a utopian community. Doubling up on the same hint doesn't help me any if I didn't know it the first time. He wanted to buy tickets to the Indy 500. Is it too on the nose to just say, they said Indy 500, we're going to Indianapolis? Like, the first two hints, no clue at all. The third hint, it's right there in the name. Well, I guess you had to know that the Indy 500, Indy is short for Indianapolis. He said he was writing a biography of Herbert Hoover. Hoover. What do we got? He said he wanted to visit the Amana colonies. I'm getting tons of hints about who he is, which is nice if we hadn't already figured out who he was. He was planning to bicycle from Dubuque to Waterloo. Well, we came from Boston. So, Des Moines, I think? It's either that or Tulsa. Alright. I wonder how many of these I'm getting right that to me are 50-50s. I wonder how much of it is I'm getting lucky and how much of it is I have like a little bit of idea, but I'm not sure, so it's more of like a 60-40. Right, so he was writing a report on the history of legalized gambling in the US, so we're probably thinking Las Vegas. Yeah. I do think it's appropriate that the dude with a gold coin is the one who shows up in Las Vegas. Information about the original Dutch settlement of Holland. That might be in Michigan. Visit Island Royale National Park. Alright, don't know that one. Plan to backpack in the Upper Peninsula. Yep, okay. The UP is definitely Michigan. Not the plant! I kill enough plants as it is without actually shattering their homes. Thanks to your help, the police have apprehended Titus Canby and returned the stolen goods to the grateful residents of St. Louis. You've earned a promotion. Time to look up the answers. Last bold-faced word. That was the same one you asked for my last promotion. Alright, we're ready for our next case. Excuse me. Alright, 4 more cases until our next promotion. I wonder what the time to beat is. I guess it depends on if I get everything right or not. Because I failed a decent amount. The Bonneville Salt Flats. The entire Salt Flats. That is a geological feature, sir. How does one steal the entire Salt Flats? Oh well, I guess they manage it. He asked for information on the Battle of Bennington. He had a lottery ticket. Alright, so he's into gambling. Wanted directions to the covered bridges of Pittsburgh. He was Tau-headed. Man, I guess it's not Orc-headed or Eldar-headed, so we should count ourselves lucky. I mean, very light blonde or untidy hair. Alright. Male. Blonde hair. Hobby, gambling. Mylar Nagahide. Alright. What did we had? We had covered bridges. And I was planning to go sailing on Lake Champlain. Don't know where that is. I want to say Virginia, but I'm really not sure. This first one is much harder than the others. Because, yeah. Because unlike some others where it's just like, oh, I can easily make it down to a 50-50. Like, this one is like, Guidebook to Bennington. Yeah, I think we might just be screwed here. Oh, never mind. We got lucky. Hopefully we get clues that we actually know the answers to. He asked for a guidebook to the Olympic Peninsula. He was planning to shop at Pike's Place Market. He said he was planning to fish along the Columbia River. This is Washington State? Yeah. Perhaps I should be looking at the options beforehand. Turn it into a multiple choice test instead of trying to figure it out as I go and then look at the choices. He asked for books about Basque settlements in the US. That I don't know. That doesn't help me. He said he was going to visit Craters of the Moon National Monument. Okay. Basque settlements and Craters of the Moon. He asked about hunting near Ketchum. Boise. We got it! How and why, I don't know, but we did make it. He said he was planning to write a paper on marine life in Rehoboth Bay. Well... boo. I was like, it's a bay, it's gotta be on the ocean. Nope. Doesn't help me. They're like all on the ocean. You want to know if there's train service to Rehoboth Bay. Again, having two people give me the same hint is kind of dirty. He said he planned to run in a marathon across the second smallest state in the US. There we go. That's something I can do. Province, Rhode Island. Okay, I am wrong. I think I went to the smallest state, not the second smallest state. We needed Delaware, not Rhode Island. Okay, so we're not at the last section yet. He was researching the history of Fort McHenry during the War of 1812. Maybe Annapolis, but I don't know. He wanted to know if there were boat tours down the Potomac River. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're headed to Annapolis. Because the Potomac isn't in Atlanta. Oh, we're still not at the last location. Okay, we're probably going to be cutting it close on time then. I wanted to read about Paul Revere's famous ride. That would be Boston. Oh, still not at the last one. Alright, let's see if we can get another one-hint wonder. We wanted information about crossing into Canada at International Falls. Well, only one of these places borders Canada, so Minneapolis it is. That's a new animation. We haven't seen that one at all. Also, who throws a tomato as a threat? There we go. We went from throwing a tomato as a threat to shooting a gun. That's quite the escalation. And we got him. Oh, that's right. What is it? Mylar Nagahide? Snarglehide, I believe, is a faux leather. Alright, we have hit the end of an hour, so it is time for us to once again take a health and wellness break, where we all stand up, stretch, walk away from our computers for a few minutes, and do those things that are good for us, like going to the bathroom and getting snacks. I will see you in 3 minutes. We're back. We have made it back. So, this is a pseudo-trick question for maybe potentially younger people. But do they recognize this style of printer? This used to be how printers worked. Like, before nowadays, when you have like all of your separate like leaves of paper that get like fed through, this was, you got a long roll of paper and it had perforated sections between each page, and it had perforated edges that had holes in it. So instead of nowadays you get rollers that kind of just grab the surface of the paper itself, this, it gets fed through by the holes on the edges. And then, when it's done, you rip those off. Is this the NES version? No, this is the DOS version. This is that's why we're playing it in DOSBox. Because, yeah, so Also, welcome in, Ichiose. So, for our 40 years of gaming, like, nostalgia slash history trip, technically I'm limiting myself to the hardware that I have. I'm not emulating anything, and I do not have an NES. So we will be missing things like Mario or Castlevania. So we are stuck mostly on the PC, or in this case DOS, which is technically still a PC. It's not Windows, but yes, welcome in. Alright. That's on the retro category. It's full of people playing nothing but Mario and Castlevania anyway. That's true. They are very popular. Now, not to be saying, like, we're only going to be doing, like, niche edutainment things. Why did I pick this one? Well, because I remember playing this one growing up. So it gets the nostalgia bump. But there are other things on the list that are there for their, say, big influences on genres. Like, I plan to hit, once we get a few years later, up to like 92-ish, I think when it came out, like Dune II, which was like the first, I'll call it modern RTS game, like real-time strategy game, and other things of that nature. So there are a lot of things to do. What was that? The Ozark Mountain region. I forget where that is. Okay. She wanted to visit the tallest monument in the US. Tallest monument. Not like mountain. Okay. She wanted to follow Huck Finn's route down the Mississippi. Alright, so I'm gonna guess that the tallest monument is the St. Louis Arch. At least because this is... At least we're definitely on the Mississippi River, so... You had the game and the NES one. Ah, I see. NES, like, I didn't have an NES growing up. There was one at my grandma's house. So I remember playing Castlevania 2. I remember playing Mario. They had the Top Gun game. The NES one is garbage? Wait, what makes the NES one different? Oberlin College, who was eating red beans and rice. So that's Southern food. She planned to visit an area where plain folk live. Okay. She wanted to see where the Indians and Browns play. Alright, so this is one of the things the game does that misleads you. This is only a hint about where she went. The fact that it's the Indians and the Browns has no bearing on which sport she is into. Also, I forgot the clue I just was talking about because I got distracted. The Cleveland Indians... Alright, so we're going to Columbus. Oh, right. Southern food. She does Southern food. Is just not a good one? Interesting. Oh, wait. Was the Carmen Sandiego game on NES the Where in the USA? Because there's like a whole series. Or was it Where in the World? Or was it... And this is something I only found out when I was looking at games for this series. There is apparently a Where in North Dakota is Carmen Sandiego. Why they were so specific to narrow it all the way down to we're going to have a game entirely about North Dakota, I don't know. Oh, you don't know you were 5? That'll happen. She said she was writing the history of Juneau. Juneau is in Alaska, so that's where we'll be going. But do we have any more hints about who she is? Beyond the Arctic Circle. Again, I know it's Alaska. Tell me something about her. Okay, Alaska it is. Historical Society. The most threatening thing of all. A hippie with a guitar that sounds like a banjo. Crater Lake, she was picking a tune on the banjo. Okay, so. She's a woman. Her music is country, and her food is southern. Alright. She's trying to kayak down the Rogue River. She was auburn-haired. Alright, so we're in Columbus, Helena, Portland, Montpelier. Wait, no, we just came from Columbus. We're in Anchorage. What was this hint again? Crater Lake? I don't know where Crater Lake is. It's the problem. Portland, maybe? I think of Portland as being wet. Hey, we got it. Okay. We already have our warrant, so we can move as soon as we find it. She was writing a biography of Junipero Serra. Sure. That doesn't help me. She asked for a map of Kings Canyon National Park. She was eating jambalaya. Kings Canyon National Park. Okay, alright. She was planning to play golf at Pebble Beach. Jambalaya is Southern food? What are the options? Tex-Mex, Southern, seafood, Creole. Wait, jambalaya is definitely... She said red beans and rice, so that's Creole food. Like, jambalaya is Creole. Okay, it's not California. Wait, no, Pebble Beach? I think Pebble Beach is California. I could be very wrong on this, though. We might have to backtrack to Portland. Okay. Good. I heart crime indeed. Very menacing. Ask for a guide to bird watching in the Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge. I do not know what state that is in. She said she planned to visit the second smallest state in the US. Off we go to Wilmington. The threatening hippie again. She was doing research on the architecture of Savannah, as in Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia it is. The Peach State. Excuse me, that's clearly a tomato that you threw. This is supposed to be the Peach State. I think that's some sort of microaggression. Good thing we got that second hint on the food type. I considered like, they said you had, what, like red beans and rice? And I was just like, oh, that's Southern food. It's like, apparently no, that counts as Creole food. So we changed it after we got the jambalaya. Alright, we have apprehended them and returned the stolen goods. Excellent. Yes, next case. I wonder if the NES version also had long loading times. I mean, I guess it's not too long in the scheme of things. It's 15 seconds. We did time it earlier. All the lobster pots in the state stolen. All of them. Alright, where are we going? Biology of Benjamin Franklin. She was a Bears fan. Alright, Bears. That's football. Alright, we're going to Pennsylvania. Eleology, which I'm assuming is some form of divination. No, the study or exploration of caves. Oh, right, same root as spelunking. Okay. Female. Hobby. Spelunking. Sport. Football. But didn't we just arrest them last time? Are they out on bail and just criming again? Philadelphia. They really gotta, lock people up for at least a little bit. Honestly, seeing watches when someone opens their coat is not the worst thing. A history of the U.S. whaling industry. Okay. Is that Maine, maybe? Toward the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Don't know where that one is. She asked about water skiing on Candlewood Lake. So, I know that I said Maine. But one, we just came from Maine, so we know it can't be Maine. And two, there's a sports team known as the Hartford Whalers. So, whaling industry it is. A history of White Sulphur Springs. She wanted to know about the water temperature at White Sulphur Springs. Okay. This whole we're going to give you the same hint from two different people is really making it more difficult. She said she planned to attend a dog race at Wheeling Downs in Wheeling. Let's see. We have White Sulphur Springs. Well, it's not Philly. It's almost certainly not Chicago. I guess we go for Topeka? If not, we have to head back to Hartford. Alright, back to Hartford it is. So we can describe the person in good enough detail that that people can tell us if they've seen them or not, but we don't know what their hair color is. Sure. She asked about books about the U.S. dairy industry. Interesting. Circus Museum. She asked about canoeing on the Chippewa River. Oh, right, Madison. Wisconsin is known for cheese. So, dairy industry. Here we go. The picture even has cows in it. She asked for information on the Battle of Bennington. Let me guess, she planned to visit the site of the Battle of Bennington. Asked if the train serves from St. Albans to Bennington. I get it. It's where Bennington is. I don't know where Bennington is. She was planning to go sailing on Lake Champlain. Omaha, Nebraska. I think we go for Montpelier? It's 50-50 shot. If not, we go back to Madison and then to Omaha. Okay. Progress. She was writing a historical novel set in Provo. She wanted to ride the train powered by the Herber Creeper. She was planning to windsurf on Lake Powell. She was carrying a rope. Okay. Seattle? Back to Montpelier. We can't brute force it too much or we will simply run out of time. I don't know about Anchorage, though. I guess we go for it. I just don't think Salt Lake City is correct, for some reason. Well, I am just very, very wrong. It was Salt Lake City the whole time. And with those two incorrect ones, we might have just sealed our fate of not getting our promotion this time. Ah, there we go. It'll load eventually. Alright, what got stolen this time? The last Californian condor. The history of Fort Laramie. It was a fort named after a famous guide and trapper, Jim Bridger. So Fort Laramie and Fort Bridger. She was planning to bicycle around Devil's Tower. I think Devil's Tower is Wyoming here. Excellent. Okay, you're going to give me hints? Red hair, excellent. Coal mining, so maybe West Virginia? Looking for a poker game. Alright. Woman. Red hair. Hobby. Gambling. There we go. West Virginia. Mountain Mama. And coal mining. Half the dog. Asked for a book about Henry Hudson. She said she planned to visit the largest museum in the US. Okay. What is it, Lisa? Is it bedtime? Parachute off the World Trade Center. Thank you, 1986. This was before at least 2 separate attacks on the World Trade Center. Because for those of you who might be younger, you know about 9/11. You, of course, haven't forgotten 9/11. There was also a bombing of the World Trade Center in the early 90s. That this also predates, being from 86. Okay, she is safely tucked in. She said she was writing a murder mystery set in Sun Valley. Okay. I'm thinking maybe Arizona? The Shoshone Caves. Don't know where those are. She said she was going to hike through the craters... excuse me. Craters of the Moon. I think we had Craters of the Moon come up a couple cases ago. I think that's Boise. And apparently Idaho is full of Basque people. She asked for a history of the Pioneer Square area. The road conditions in Olympic Mountains. She wanted to see the Seahawks play. That would be the Seattle Seahawks. She said she was writing an article about Theodore Roosevelt's ranching days. Alright, so we're talking middle America if it's ranching. She said she wanted to visit Fort Buford, where Sitting Bull surrendered. Alright, again, we're talking middle of the country. She said she was going to backpack through Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Well, it's not Montpelier or Washington, D.C., and we just came from Boise. So that leaves us with Bismarck, which is in the middle of the country. I said it was going to be middle of the country. I did not expect it to be this far north, but so it is. She asked for a catalog to the university located at Chapel Hill. That's North Carolina. UNC Chapel Hill. That might be the first axe we've gotten. We've gotten gun, we've got tomato, we've gotten knife. That might be the first axe. Oh, we've gotten bomb a lot, too. We've also gotten the bags of concrete. Actually, we had one that ended up in North Carolina. It was interesting because we got 2 bags of concrete in a row with the picture of the guy in the plane on the left. And we got him. Excellent. Please note my success, yes. Oh, one more. All right, so we don't get promoted yet. We have one more. I don't know how the game changes as you get promoted, though. Like, the only thing I've seen so far specifically is that in the beginning, it took 3 cases to get promoted, and now it's taking 4. I don't know if you're like, get less time for each case, so it gets a little bit more strict, or what. Just apprehend her by Wednesday. Research on Washington's winter at Valley Forge. I believe that's Pennsylvania. Independence Hall. Yep, Pennsylvania. Can you tell me, like, hair color? No. No hints as to her identity. So, ideally for me, would be you give me hints to their identity, or if you're not going to give me any hints, well, that's fine. The Constitution State. Alright, so we're like right next to it. She asked if there were any good hotels in Danbury. Okay, cool. She asked if she could scuba dive at the Mystic Marine Life Aquarium. The Constitution State. Yeah, that's going to be Hartford. Hartford, Connecticut. Really anything with early American history is going to be the Northeast. Maybe Florida. But all the big government forming stuff was in the Northeast. She asked for information about beachcombing on the southwest shore of Lake Michigan. Mouse-colored hair. Alright, so brown hair. Southwest shore of Lake Michigan is going to be probably Chicago. That was the wrong button. Brown hair, sashimi. Female. Brown hair, seafood. Cool. Chicago. So we do need at least one more hint on her identity. Ask for books on wildlife in the largest freshwater swamp in the US. She had a ticket to The Ring? That's a different The Ring. This is 1986. Good restaurants in Americus. She asked about fishing conditions at the Cumberland National Seashore. Like the largest freshwater swamp. I think that's got to be Atlanta, right? Okay, good. But we still don't know what The Ring is as far as telling us who she is. But maybe we'll get a different hit. She had Mets tickets. Alright. Sport. Baseball. Same too. They both like baseball. Unfortunate for us. She said she wanted to visit an orchid nursery. That doesn't help me. She said she wanted to go deep-sea fishing off the Kona coast. Well, I'm guessing Honolulu? Kona sounds vaguely Hawaiian, and it's the only one that's got a lot of coast. Excellent. Writing an article about the Homestake Mine. Okay. Grave of Chief Sitting Bull. She planned to visit the graves of Wild Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane. I think we're going Pierre. That all sounds very South Dakota. Okay, good. We should be getting close to the end, which means we have like one more clue. Astronaut training program. Alright, so we're going to Florida. Mahogany tresses. We already know that. South Fork Ranch. Oh, never mind. We're not going to Florida. We're going to Texas. That's right. There's astronaut training is in Texas. The launch pads are in Florida. You know, the whole Houston, we have a problem. Houston, Texas. Okay, we're gonna have to guess on who it is that we are tracking down. Alright, The Ring. Is The Ring an opera? Is that a Wagner thing? Classic country rock opera. Polyester Fabrique. Yes, Polyester Fabrique. Not polyester fabric. Polyester Fabrique. Presumably she is dating, what is it? Mylar Nagahide? I should check the dossiers for that, see if they actually have any relation to each other. Because I think Polyester Fabrique and Mylar Nagahide, they might get along. Mylar Nagahide. He has a secret desire to be the Phantom of the Opera, will bet on anything. Okay, cool. Polyester Fabrique. Has weeping fits as she plays her collection of Caruso arias. Alright, we've earned a promotion. Now we get to the copyright protection. Boldface word at the bottom, page 609. Music. Yes, we're ready for our next case. Oh, there it goes. Kurt is senior inspector. Des Moines. Herbert Hoover's baby shoes. Masked female, okay. Track the thief from Des Moines to her hideout and arrest her. The time limit does not matter, because I'm not going to change how I play based on the time limit. I'm either going to make it or I'm not. Books about the Hoosier State. She was carrying a wrench. Okay. So I know where we're going, but we're looking for more hints about what she is into. A wrench means her hobby is car repair. Right. Indianapolis. Indiana Hoosiers. Who are absolutely crushing it this year, by the way. They are undefeated and they're in the playoffs. Or did they already win the playoffs? When are the playoffs? That... Let's see. No, they are playing Friday against Oregon. Okay, yes. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. Playing a game. Research on the oil industry in the US. Alright, so we're talking about South Central US. Eating fried chicken. Alright, now we're in Southern food. I know that one's not Creole. Alright, so we got a woman who likes southern food. And car repair. So, your standard southern woman, I suppose. Or at least the stereotypical one. Alright, we know where we're going. Woman, food, southern, hobby, auto repair. Yeah, there are two, of course there are. Depart. We're headed to Raleigh, because it gave us the Wright brothers hint. So we know that's North Carolina. Should we have done that? Maybe not, since we don't have all the hints for identity yet. So it's probably a bad idea to advance and miss out on 2 hints, or 2 potential chances at a hint. Eating black-eyed peas. Okay. She's researching Rough Rider country. Okay. Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Alright, so we're in North Dakota. Lake Sakakawea. There we go. We did get another hint, but it was another hint at southern food. So we already know that, so it does not help us. Hey, get back to work! Shin guards. The hell does shin guards mean? Also, Lake Mead, but I don't know where Lake Mead is. She asked if those train starts from Ellie to Elko. She wanted to bicycle to Singing Sand Mountain. Try Arizona. Just because sand. Ah! Okay, Las Vegas. You've got sand too, don't you? I swear, Singing Sand Mountain is in Washington State. Okay. That would have been like, what are you doing? What do you mean Singing Sand Mountain isn't there? She was doing research on the famous American painter Grant Wood. Grant Wood sounds more like an activity than a person, but okay. Renting a car in Waterloo. She said she was going to compete in the Sydney Championship Rodeo. Waterloo, Missouri, or Waterloo, Iowa? I think we're going to Des Moines. Like, it's not Detroit. It's either Des Moines or St. Louis. Okay, we won the 50-50. She had peroxided hair. Alright, so she's a blonde. Still doesn't narrow it down. Unfortunate. It's so annoying when it's like, I have 3 hints. A 4th will clearly do it. It's like, no. The 2 that it narrowed down to share that. Just for a meep of Muncie. Okay. She wanted to buy tickets to the Indy 500. Yeah, okay. We did get another hint in there, but it was another hint that she likes Southern food. So, you know, getting a hint that she likes Southern food when we already know she has Southern food, like 2 or 3 times over. She had a Pavarotti t-shirt. Alright. Paul Revere's famous rides. We know where we're going. Music is opera. Venus H. Pencil. And we're going to Boston. Oh no, a tomato. some of these things are like, we're trying to kill you, and this is just like, your performance is bad. I do like how that one was thrown the other direction, so it's like, I throw a tomato. Well, I throw a knife! It's like, okay, this is not balanced. Yeah. Yeah, we got her. I guess that counts as peroxided. Thanks to your help, the police have apprehended Venus H. Pendulum and returned the stolen goods to the grateful residents of Des Moines. We heard Acme thank you for your good work on this case. Your success will be noted on your record. 3 more cases until your next promotion. Ready for your next case? Yes. Ah, yes, the 15-second load time wait. I'm too used to seeing Japanese words spelled out in English that I totally missed that your name is I chose death, not Ichose death. And I was not corrected. You just let me be a fool. I understand. Current rank is Senior Inspector. Paul Bunyan's axe was stolen by a woman. Copper mining. I don't know where in the US there's a lot of copper mining. Voting on the Saginaw Bay. Saginaw Bay and copper mining. Ask for guide to help track moose. Alright, so we're talking about northern, probably northwestern. Saginaw Bay? And moose? I mean, can't be Miami, right? Like, a bay is going to be on the ocean. But I'd want to go Boston for bays, but I didn't think that moose would be in Boston. Are Massachusetts moose a thing? Yeah, that's what I thought. Massachusetts moose, not a thing. Is it gonna be Miami? It can't be Miami. Which would mean it's Detroit. Yeah. I thought it couldn't be Detroit because Detroit doesn't have bays. Detroit is on the ocean. I guess they call it a bay because the Great Lakes. Alright, well, we need to basically be perfect from here on out. Because we already messed that up. Alright, we're going to Las Vegas. Do you have any hints about her identity? Still going to Vegas. Do you have any hints about her identity? No hints about identity. We are super behind. Book about the Badlands. She asked about the road conditions in the Badlands. I'm pretty sure that's Bismarck. If it isn't, I think we're just screwed. Excellent. But 2 of the same location hint with no identity hints is a little rough on the RNG there. Victorian homes of Port Townsend. Alright, so we're looking at East Coast. Ferry service to Windby Island. She was going to sail across the Strait of Juan de Fuca. She was listening to Hank Williams. Alright. So, country music. Alright. Seattle it is. I thought the Victorian stuff would be East Coast, but the Strait of Juan de Fuca is definitely Washington State. Or should I say Washington Strait? I shouldn't. She wanted a book on the Trapp family of Stowe. Were they stowaways? Covered bridges of Pittsford. She was going to hike to Hilden, the one-time home of Abraham Lincoln's son. Covered bridges. Montpelier? I'm really not knowing the answers to these recently. Okay. Apparently good enough. But all we know right now is that it is a woman, and that she is, now I forgot what the hint was that we had to her identity. Was it a music hint? Yes, it was she liked Hank Williams, so she likes country music. Arches National Park. Can you tell me more about this woman who likes country music? I still don't get why, like, he's wearing roller skates. El Paso, okay. South Fork Ranch. Hank Williams, again. San Antonio. I need a different hint to who she is. But it will not give me a hint to who she is. Andrew Jackson. Black Eyed Peas. Alright, crime. Female. Southern food. Country music. Cumberland Gap. I think that's Nashville, right? I'm pretty sure there's more than one. So we might just have to guess. Oh no! Ah, we just barely ran out of time. Alright, so we got way behind early, but we kind of caught up a little bit. We needed enough time to run the computer and hit 1 or 2 more locations, so it was close. The Carlsbad Caverns were stolen. Like, the underground caves. All of them. How? Did she just carve out a big circle of earth? Just, like, the caverns are just the holes in the earth. Did she fill them in and then remake the caverns elsewhere? Like, how do you steal the entire Carlsbad Caverns? Must apprehend him by Wednesday. Writing a Civil War romance set in Vicksburg. Vicksburg, Tupelo, Hattiesburg. Vicksburg is definitely in the South, but I don't know if it's Alabama or Mississippi. Where did we come from? Santa Fe, right? If we got this wrong, then we would be really screwed. Right, Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, we're behind, but doable. Pilgrims and first settlements, alright. Berkshire Mountains. Take part in the reenactment of the Battle of Concord. She had bat guano on her shoes. Concord, New Hampshire? No, Lexington and Concord. Alright, so that should be Boston. Also, we know that she is a spelunker from the bat guano. Carrying a pigskin. Okay. U.S. Naval Academy. We're going to Annapolis. Also, her sport is football. Oh, yourself. Red beans on your ice. Alright. So, sport. Football. Food. Red beans and rice is apparently Creole, not Southern. Directions to Little Heaven. Marathon across the second smallest state in the U.S. So we want Wilmington. We have our warrant, so we can go as fast as possible as soon as we know where we want to go. Largest freshwater swamp. That is in Georgia. The threatening banjo hippie. Written history of the Loop. I don't know what that is. Red hair. The town where Lincoln practiced law. I don't know that one, actually. I wanted to break from Decatur to Champaign. I don't think he practiced law in... Alright, so we know it's not Wilmington. We know it's not Honolulu. Chicago or Little Rock? I feel like it's Little Rock. Oh, and it is time for our hourly ad break, where we do a health and wellness check, and we go and grab snacks, and we stretch, and we hydrate, and we don't look at screens for 3 minutes. I'll see you in 3 minutes. And we have returned from the ads. I hope everyone had a good ad break. And we need to go back to wherever we were. We were in Atlanta, I think. All right, Chicago it is. Okay. Progress. Study the 17th century homes in New London. That is Connecticut. And we get the fancy man. Hello, fancy man. Fancy suspicious man. Willie Nelson tape. We already identified her, so. Valley Forge. Alright, we're staying nearby. Excellent. Oh, wrong one. We just wait and see and make sure that we got it right. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Note my success. Thank you. All right. 2 more cases, assuming we get it right. Rank is Senior Inspector. Minneapolis. The headwaters of the Mississippi were stolen. Again, with the geological features. The headwaters of the Mississippi. So, essentially just every mountain stream that feeds into the top of the Mississippi River. Sure. Everglades National Park. Alright, can anyone tell me about her? Cypress Gardens. Again, we're going to Florida. I got it. Eating grits. Woman. Southern food. And we go to Florida. I swear, if it gives me, like, the same people robbing stuff again back to back, it's like, why did I even arrest them in the first place? I guess they have magical powers if they can steal the entire headwaters. History of silver mining in the US. Interesting. I don't know where the silver mines are. Road conditions between Boulder and Vail. Got it. Colorado. She had a lug nut in her hand. Alright. Riding a blue instead in the Blue Ridge Mountains. That's not specific. The Blue Ridge Mountains aren't only in one state, I don't think. Lug nut in her hand. Hobby. Auto repair. Of course, there are multiple blonde southern gals who are into auto repair. New York Rangers t-shirt. The Rangers are... At first I thought baseball, but it's like, no. New York has the Yankees and the Mets. The Rangers are the hockey team, I believe. South has the world's largest naval base. Yeah, that's gotta be Richmond, right? Yeah. Virginia has a huge deep water port. Also, sport, hockey. Two suspects who both have everything in common except for their musical taste. Harbor Creeper. Bryce Canyon National Park. I think that's Utah. Alright, so we need a hint on music taste specifically. No other hint will do, because apparently Yeah, okay, the ranger shirt. Writing a social history of the second city. One of the world's great art museums. That's not very specific. I'm leaning toward, like, New York. Voting at Chain O' Lakes State Park. Chain O' Lakes Steel Park. Famous art museum. Chicago, I guess. Okay. Now, please give us a hint as to the music tastes. Peanut industry, okay? I don't know where peanut industry sends us. Cumberland National Seashore, okay. So it's on the ocean, and it has peanuts. She wanted to see where the Falcons, Yellow Jackets, Bulldogs, and Hawks play. Alright, so we're going to Georgia. Like, that is an intensive hint. Like, it's like, just know one of these. Any one of these. Alright, please tell us music taste. Pineapple industry. Cool. Orchid nursery. Alright, we're going to Hawaii. Yes, Molokai to Oahu. Alright, we're going to Hawaii, but we still don't know who it is. We're gonna have to 50-50 this? Maybe not. We still have opportunities for hints. The Homestake Mine. Black Hills, or North Dakota. Yeah, alright. Sorry, South Dakota. Unfortunately, we have not gotten enough information to specifically identify the perp. Alright, time to 50-50 it. Blonde, repairing cars, hockey, okay. It doesn't say anything about her music taste. Oh, wait, no. That's not the one. It was Gypsy Rose Lasagna? No, she's not blonde. Who's the other one? No. Occupation, woman of mystery. Okay. We're gonna guess that it's Venus H. Pencil. Alright, it's a 50-50. Because it gave us 5 out of 6 hints, but unfortunately, they were not unique. Alright. Time for the 50-50. Hey, we got it. Still wild that they didn't differentiate them that much. That they had two who's had everything in common except for one thing. I wonder if it was deliberate. Yes, we're ready for our next case. We do want to get a promotion. We're angling for a promotion. Eventually. We'll get a promotion eventually. Alright. Minneapolis. The Mayo Brothers Stethoscope. Mayo Brothers as in the Mayo Clinic? I didn't know that was named after the Mayo Brothers. Also, the way that they had the apostrophe implies that there was a single Mayo brother whose stethoscope was stolen. Orange growing, so probably Florida. Epcot, definitely Florida. Eating jambalaya. Female, food, Creole. However, woman who likes Creole food is not specific enough. I mean, apparently blonde woman who likes repairing cars and hockey and southern food is also not specific enough. Silver mining. Alright, so we're going to Colorado. Do you have any information on the person? Talking heads. Okay. Auburn-haired. Auburn is red, I believe. Red-haired. Talking heads are a rock band. And we're going to Colorado. Bats Domino. Okay. Yosemite National Park. That's San Francisco. That's pretty sure that's California. Yeah. Bird watching in the Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge. Little Heaven. I swear I've gotten these clues enough times, I should actually know them by now. Indian River Bay. Little Heaven. And Prime Hook. That's what I thought. Boo. Wilmington it is. Mostly because it mentioned a bay, and the others are landlocked. You know, you'd think if it were so urgent that we catch this person, maybe we could sneak by with 6 hours of sleep instead of 8. Basque settlements. That's Boise. I want to know who is buried in Grant's tomb. Alright, I've heard that question before. I think this is New York. Just trying to tour a fort captured by the British by Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys. Yeah, that's upstate New York. I mean, when you think New York, a lot of people just think the city, but there's a lot going on in the rest of New York. Or at least there was historically. It can get actually very rural very quickly out there. Coal mining. Why did they choose Charleston, West Virginia, and Charleston, South Carolina? Like, it's not like they're only choosing capitals or they're limited in some way. They didn't have to have the names overlap. They could have picked a non-Charleston city in either one. She was writing a history of the Apostle Islands. Okay. That Alaska? Ask for directions to Door County. She asked about canoeing on the Chippewa River. Chippewa River? Door County, Chippewa River, and something on a bunch of islands? It's not going to be Cheyenne. I guess we go for Madison? It's not New York. We just came from New York. Might be Connecticut. We'll try Connecticut. Back to Charleston. We bought ourselves a little bit of time earlier with the with getting stuff in one shot, but we have now fallen back behind. Oh, okay, we're still ahead of schedule then. Again, double cement bagging. Okay, this should get us our promotion. Okay, thanks to your help, the police have apprehended Wendy Pauper and returned the stolen goods to the grateful residents of Minneapolis. We here at Acme thank you for your good work on this case. Congratulations, you have earned a promotion. Before you are promoted, you have one more clue to unravel. Use the cheat sheet from the internet. What is at the bottom of page 41, all the way up at 41, customs. Junior detective. 5 more cases until your next promotion. Are we ready for our next case? We're gonna say no, actually. We've been running a little late on these streams, and so we're gonna cut it a little shorter. So what we're gonna do instead is we're going to just call it for the night. And what we will do is be very, very, let's see, do we want to raid out? There may not be anyone here, so we're not going to try to raid out to anyone, besides which, like, the only person I see on who I might theoretically raid, who I know-ish/follow, has like 80 people, and raiding into an 80-person stream with one person is the kind of pick-me behavior that I don't want to exhibit in myself. I don't like it in other people, so I'm not going to like it in me either. So comes to an end the first stream of 40 years of gaming. I believe our next stream will be Might and Magic 1. I have not decided which day we're going to do it on. Probably not tomorrow, but maybe Thursday. And yeah, that'll do it for this. I hope anyone who is still here has had a good time with Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego and didn't get too frustrated at me for not knowing things, or hey, maybe you learned something. Either way, I appreciate anyone and everyone who is here or has been here. And yeah, that'll do it. So, of course, if there are people here, remember that you can click the buttons, like especially if you want to see what's coming up in the next 40 years of gaming. You can click, your follow buttons and stuff like that. And yeah. Even if not, I appreciate you being here. So, thank you.